Stock market may be at a critical juncture here as market makers are starting to shift their positioning. And we're seeing that in the charts. We've seen that over the last couple of days. Today is Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. If you guys liked the video, you can consider maybe giving it a like, subscribe to the channel. You can also find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts analysis and live day trading. Absolutely on fire in this market, by the way, as well. I absolutely love this range and love that volatility is back. This is the type of market I really like trading. Multiple winners booked in here today. And again, 2 more days left on the sale too. So get in on that while you can. This is a great market here to be trading. Real quick too, I want to talk about something, just a little kind of a bit of a trade review here, but just a concept I think is good to explore mentally from a trader psychology standpoint and like a market psychology standpoint. So this morning, obviously ASML reported earnings, and the stock moved higher, needless to say. And I got up this morning and I was like, oh, okay, ASML's up. And I just see where it's trading, and you can see this local high here at 1059, and you can see that's not the all-time high. We got to go back to last year, but you can see it's a good local high, and suppose their earnings are so great, and I said, like, this is one of the things I look for here, and it's always good to question this, right? If their earnings are so great, why couldn't it just make a new high, right? I mean, it's right there. It's like, what's another $40 on this thing? And that was not a reason to short it. We actually had it's funny, probably like about 30 minutes later, my algo kicked out a proprietary indicator for us to short it, and we got it on the open for like $30, which was nice. And you also had a 786 that it hit on the open as well. But just a little kind of like thing that I thought would be good to pass along here is, whenever there's something gapping up on news or down, and it's like, I mean, it sounds so simple, right? It's so quantitative. Like, if it didn't make a new low, it didn't, right? But yeah, I mean, like, if this was so great, right? Shouldn't it just? It's not like we were down here, right, and gapping up to there. It's like we were right near it, right? It should have easily just cleared that. I mean, hell, if AMD can go up, 40%, and Oracle can go up to 40% on nothing, and Broadcom can go right, why can't ASML? So, little trade review there. Anyway, outside of that. Speaking of trade reviews, SPY here, 670. We talked about this being resistance earlier today. I'm not sure when I did the morning video, but that was the level. We round tripped it. Yeah, and I said, I was looking for, that's right, I know, I'm remembering now. I said, look for a Trump tweet to come out. We didn't really need it, but we had kind of a slow burn off of that. And again, that was a nice short in the trading room here, and caught basically the lows too this morning. ES hitting one of my major lines. Nice rebound, and then rebounded into the end of the day. Now, lot of noise, right? And again, I told you yesterday, don't look for a trend here. A lot of people were looking for a trend this morning, and that helped me kind of, again, speaking of psychology, just knowing the levels. But psychology wise, like I figured people were like, oh, we're just going to go to make new highs now. Again, this range here, there's damage. Like it's not gonna just do what it did before and just go straight up. It's gonna take it some time to do that, and it might not even do that right now. So there's some other stuff we'll talk about here in a minute, but that's it. And I'm not looking for a trend on either side outside of intraday, which, I mean, we're getting 100-point swings, and I love this market here. So that said, we had a little bit of a dip in the middle of the day. Uncle Scott said a few things, and then we rebounded, but we were I saw people kind of frustrated about like the market not going down further. It's like, dude, there's 110 points right there. All right, it's gonna catch a bid at some point there. You can see here we might fill some of this range out tomorrow too. I don't really love that, and I would have liked it if we got to 6,600 too, which we did not do, and that would fill out the rest of this too. So that would be a double winner going into tomorrow, and that is possible. That said, a couple of things here. Again, we talked about some of the credit things. I didn't mention this. I wasn't going to mention it, but if it's going to happen, it's not going to stop for anything. So you can see here spreads here. That's 23 basis points there in one single day. Now that was Monday. So that was not, that was while the market was rebounding. And we just wiped out like basically the whole spring summer move there. And that is as HYG. You know, it was up the last couple of days, but you know, it went right into the trend line. We'll see what it does there. And we told you not to get too excited about one sexy looking candle, right? Because we just faded basically that whole move today on KRE too. Now, you know, it didn't make a new low, but again, don't look for a trend here until we fill out this range more. It's going to take a while. One of the other things that I'm looking at too is dealer positioning. It's starting to get weak, and if I can see it here. Like, there's a total difference, right, between this OPEX cycle and every single other one, and it's I mean, it's like abundantly clear, right? Every single one of these, every one of them, the last 2 weeks of it, like the market puts in a bottom and goes higher, like vertically higher towards the end too, except for here where we were a little choppy. But I mean, every single one of these, it's just vertical, right? This one's a lot different. I think a lot of this momentum got stuffed here, and you're seeing we closed below the 20-day again. So like, they're actually acting as, you know, dealers are holding their short stock, right? As opposed to prior instances where they would just cover it because the puts were decaying so fast that they just had no reason to, and then it would just squeeze us up. And then, you know, everybody else was piling on with calls on top of that and making it, you know, crazier and crazier. That's kind of what happened with 6,500. So you can see, you know, my thesis from like month or two ago, whatever it was. It held up for like 6 weeks before they finally broke it through. But I mean, you can see right there, and then it took like almost like the back half of summer and into the fall to break that. This isn't how they're positioned now, though. They're actually, what I'm trying to say here is they're actually, on a lot of expiries, they're turning into net sellers. Like looking at next Friday on the Qs, I know it's kind of blurry. I don't know why that picture came out like crappy, but like this is extremely, and now it's next Friday. There's a whole week and a half in between, but that's just not a good look anyway you need to look at it. Prior to this, we would see things like, and this is SPX for Friday. I mean, like prior to this, we would see maybe negative gamma, and then you'd see net very positive, meaning everything else is going to act as support. So we might go to one of those strikes, but it's just going to bounce right off of it. This is suggesting that they can be sellers there, should those hit. And this is the first time I've seen this like since the springtime. If you want to look at, yeah, let's look at the Qs. Again, like this is for, yeah, this is for tomorrow, I believe, which, you know, not the word, there's some tails down here, but you can see like basically like 593, that's pretty supportive. We got our favorite strike 590, but again, notice how it's kind of turned, it's like not positive here, right? We're not seeing that positive. You know, last week, the week before they'd all look like this, like heavily green. And again, I'm kind of explaining it quickly, but basically what it's just saying is like your destination's on the left, but whether it's going to keep going or reverse is the net, and it's losing that support here. Granted, you know, on the positive side, you do have higher lows right now. So we've had higher lows there off of those 20 MA rejections. But again, I think the bull case here is you still fill this range out for a while. And I talked about this earlier this week, but just a heavy rejection, and it's going to take time to get through this in one way or the other. To me, though, this structure looks more and more corrective. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. No, that's what I'll leave it at. And I still don't think that there's other things we can talk about too. I want to give everything away, but there's a little bit of a shift in the volatility markets too. Anyway, Qs here, at 602 and change. Again, we talked about this holding around the 600 handle all week, and that's basically it. Again, panic bid in semis is keeping this tape alive. I mean, look at the Advanced decline was basically flat today. What do we? I mean, we were flat. Well, I mean, up a 0.5%. On a normal day, a normal market, that would be a pretty good gain. But in this market, that's kind of like flat to positive. But yeah, I mean, like the semis here. If you take that away or just make them all flat, this market's down. So panic bid there continues. IWM, again, we talked about 251 yesterday. It did shoot through that a little bit, but then it backed off. So I don't think it goes too much past that for the rest of the week. We'll see. Diamond here, that was really flat. Okay, so the diamond was flat, literally to the penny. So nothing new to report there. Again, SMH up, despite ASML coming off the highs. It held 1,000, so it's still in decent shape. IGV did close red. So a little weakness in cloud. The weekly chart still looks okay there. Transports were flat as well. We had rates starting off the day pretty strong. Bonds starting off the day pretty strong, but then they reversed. And yeah, it looks like the 30 closed flat. But yeah, yields outside of today, though, they're starting to slip a little bit here. I see that too. There's a little change. XHB, that was up. And that had a nice rebound yesterday. And again, minor follow through today. The one that was a big winner was REITs. Yeah, IYR finally getting a nice move. Again, we talked about that trend line. And yeah, I guess if you bid that, it worked out. I didn't, but somebody could have. And yeah, nice rebound. We'll see where it closes the week. XLF closing flat. KRE, we mentioned that rejected pretty good. Broker dealers closing up. Oil, really low energy day. So I don't really love this one way or the other. I'd like to see it flush though, and then I'd start getting interested. XLE all over the map. Bearish inside bar. Got to be careful with these here. OYH managed to carve out a decent gain though. Maybe the dollar was down most of the day too. So again, let me see. I haven't looked at Utes in a minute. I mean, Utes, staples, healthcare up. TLT is down, but trending, trending up the last couple of days. Dollar down. Usually a certain type of configuration that goes with that. Gold up 1.5. Silver up 3.65. This was a little weak early on, but it got a bid in the afternoon. It really took off around 1 o'clock. And it made a new high. So did SIL. So again, all's well that ends well, right? We talked about the minor divergence here, right? No new highs in the GDX and the SIL. But they that changed, right? It's okay. It doesn't have to every single day make a new high. But you want to see the miners generally leading though. So they caught up. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. The trend is up. Platinum here holding up well. It's kind of basing here a little bit in the kind of like the hourly. So that's starting to coil up too. 20 MA is catching up the price. And palladium here still in parabola mode since what, like the second or third. Long time coming for that. Nice rebound. Copper HG flat. So not much else to go off of there. Bitcoin was down a little bit. We actually, that was another trade we had too on ETH. It didn't follow through, but we got a nice little gain on it and dumped the runner. But yeah, this came down, so we actually played it right there off that point of control reclaim. Nice, decent little gain there, and then it rolled over, so we dumped the runner. But yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought crypto would be a little stronger today, and it wasn't. Not that I was expecting trend, but I thought there was a chance the crypto could hold up pretty well today. We're starting to work on like a bear inside bar here on Bitcoin too. So yeah, like the fact that it's not following through off this bounce is not good right now. Could that change? Yeah, it's got time, but it's gonna have to do it soon. And then you got ETH here. Again, much firmer, right? BTCD. I guess it's going back up now, but oh, I guess, yeah, on a percent. Okay, so looks can be deceiving. On a percentage basis, it's going up, but structurally, right? Like higher lows. I mean, technically, yes, higher lows too, but like it's like more of a U shape, right? So keeping an eye on that. And like even Solana still hasn't taken out yesterday's low, whereas Bitcoin basically, touched it. So I'm watching those three. A little weakness there. But yeah, outside of that, again, I don't think we'll necessarily. I'm not expecting any sort of trend tomorrow. Probably more of the same. I think if we're up, it'll be upside chop. If we're down, it could trend a little bit. I think 6,600 is still pretty decent support for now. If it gets through that though, it's going to fill out the lows. I would think it's going to test the lows again. But I still am not thinking this range breaks unless there's like a major catalyst. I mean, we got 2 days left until OPEX, and even if dealers are net sellers, like it's just not gonna. It's very rare to see a big breakdown around like this close to an expiry, especially October. But anyway, we'll see about that. So, anyways, guys, we'll wrap it up here again. You guys take care. Have a great evening. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow.